Hi everyone, it's Rivka Malka, and today it's my turn to share with you a story from the Tzaddikim. Now, I'm going to share with you a story that my dear mother-in-law, Naomi Bas Shlomo Menachem, used to love to share, and it's from this book about the Lamed Vav Tzaddikim, and the name of the story is Schwartzer Wolf. So, everybody knows that the Hasidic masters were on the highest level. And one of the highest was the Schwartzer Maggid. He was the holiest of holy. One morning there was a knock on the Schwartzer's door, and there was the rabbi of the town. And he looked so distressed. And so the Rebbe said to him, "What's the matter, my dear rabbi? What's hurting you? Come and sit with me." And the rabbi sat down with the Schwartzer Maggid, and he said, "I can't take it anymore. My wife and I have been married for 20 years and we still don't have children. Rebbe, please help me. I don't even usually come to Rebbes. It's not my way, but I don't know what else to do. Please just give me a blessing and tell me that I'm going to be able to have a child." Well, the Schwartzer Maggid got quiet, and he thought, and he went so deep and he went so high. And at last he opened his eyes and he said, "My dear Rabbi, I'm so sorry, but the gates of heaven are closed to this matter, and I am not strong enough to open them. I'm afraid you will not have a child." Well, the rabbi, he was so upset. He said, "No, Rabbi, please, that can't be." And he said, "I'm sorry, but this is all that I have for you. They are closed." He said, "Rabbi, tell me, there must be someone in the world who could open up the gates of heaven." And the Schwartzer Maggid said, "You are right. There is. Schwartzer Wolf." "Schwartzer Wolf? I know Schwartzer Wolf. That's that man. He barely comes to davening, and when he does, we just don't even want him there. He's so dirty. He's so unpleasant." "Schwartzer Wolf? Why him? What are you talking about?" The Schwartzer Maggid said, "Yes, you are right. This is how Schwartzer Wolf appears. He appears to be so lowly, but in fact, he is the head of the Lamed Vav Tzaddikim, the 36 Tzaddikim that hold up the entire world. And only he has the power to open up the gates of heaven to help you get what you want." Wow. The rabbi's mind started to open and expand and twist and just start to rethink everything that he knew about the world. And suddenly he realized, "I must see this Schwartzer Wolf. Everything that I thought about him before was wrong. I need to get myself ready to approach this great tzaddik." And so he went home and he told his wife what was happening, and he began his process of tshuva. He went to the mikveh again and again. He looked through his deeds again and again, and he purified himself and came close to Hashem in the deepest possible way that he knew how. And then he said, "I'm ready to go. I've done all that I can do. I'm ready to present myself before the Schwartzer Wolf." Well, when he got closer to the time that he was going to go, he suddenly realized, "Oh no, the Schwartzer Wolf might turn me away even after all that I've done, because maybe I really am not worthy. I must come up with a plan." And so he came up with a plan. He would go deep into the forest where the Schwartzer Wolf lived, and he would visit him right before Shabbos. He said, "No Yid's going to turn away another Yid right before Shabbos. I'm going to present myself to him right then before candlelighting and say, 'I'm sorry, I'm a Yid lost in the forest. Please, could you take me in?'" And so that's exactly what he did. Friday afternoon, he plunged himself deep into the forest. It got darker and darker and thicker, and there, at the edge of the forest, deep in the forest, was a home. He knocked on the door, and a woman opened up the door, and she said, "Excuse me, what do you want?" And he said, I need a place for Shabbos. Please, could I come in?" And this woman looked so unpleasant. Everything about her looked dirty and bedraggled, and she came out with such a powerful unpleasantness that he couldn't even stand it. But he knew, yes, he knew, that when you're in the presence of greatness, how you see another is really a reflection of how you are on the inside. And so he knew that if this woman looked so disgraceful to him, this was a problem with him. He understood that, and he said, "Please, I just need to be here for Shabbos. Can I come in?" And she said, you know what? You cannot. You're crazy if you think you can come in. As a matter of fact, if my husband comes home and sees you, who knows what he could do? You better get out of here quick, fast, run. Wow. Well, he was like, no, I can't. I came all this way. I need the bracha. Please, just let me stay for Shabbos. Please, please, please. And at last the woman said, fine, go, stay in the stable, but don't you say a word. So the rabbi took his package that he brought with him with his little challah and his little grape juice, and he went into the stable. And he's looking around and he's thinking to himself, what am I doing here? This is what it is, me and the dogs, me and the cows, me and Shabbos. What is happening? But he got to work welcoming Shabbos, and in the background he heard the Schwartzer wolf come home to his wife, slamming the doors, and then silence. And he started to keep Shabbos. And he davened, and in the quiet, suddenly the door opens up, and there's the Schwartzer wolf, and he says, what are you doing here? You better be careful. And he was terrified. It was enough that he was scared of the Schwartzer wolf when he was an unpleasant, dirty man, but now he realized that underneath that and within that was the greatest, most awesome holiness, hidden purposefully behind a facade. And he was trembling, and the Schwartzer wolf was physically imposing, towering over him, and he was filled with terror. And when the Schwartzer wolf was finished talking to him, yelling at him, screaming at him, he just shook in a corner while the Schwartzer wolf said, you better not come into my house. You better not so much as look through the window. Goodbye. And that's what happened. That night, the Yid, the rabbi, pardon me, he was davening and he was doing tshuva and he was thinking to himself, Gewalt, I'm not worth it. I'm not worth it. What is happening? I can't even get an inch over here. What the Schwartzer wolf sees in me must be so low. I have to do more tshuva. And so he spent the whole night looking at his deeds, trying to wake himself up to what Hashem wants, to purify his heart, to come clean. And he spoke to Hashem all night, let me do tshuva, purify me so I can speak to the Schwartzer wolf. And it came time for the morning, and he had nothing left to promise Hashem. He was emptied out, and he was sure, now I did tshuva, now I'm pure enough, now the Schwartzer wolf could help me. All I need is his blessing to open up the gates of heaven. But the next day came, and it passed, and there was no knocks on the door, and the rabbi was left alone. And he knew that Shabbos was almost over and he had not gotten the blessing. And his heart broke as he looked outside and he saw that the stars were coming into the sky. And he said, this was my chance. How did I lose my chance? I wasn't worthy. I just wanted a bracha. And in a moment, he had a revelation. He said, Gewalt Hashem, what have I done? I'm looking to the Schwartzer wolf to give me a blessing, but you're the one who created the world. You're the one who can do everything. I've been running to the Rebbe. I've been running to this one. I've been running everywhere but to you. Hashem, I have no one left. I have nothing left. And for the first time in his life, the rabbi really opened his heart completely and fully to Hashem. Hashem, please, you're the only one who could save me. I beg you, please grant me a child. And at that moment, the Schwartzer wolf walked in and tapped him gently on the shoulder. And he said, my dear Yid, Shabbos is almost over. Why don't you come into my house? And so the Yid humbly, with a naked heart, walked into the Schwartzer wolf's house and sat down as they were finishing Shal Shudas. And the house looked beautiful. And the woman of the home looked beautiful. And Schwartzer wolf looked beautiful. And the rabbi knew that he at last had gotten in touch with the beauty of his own neshama, of his own soul. And as they sat together, the Schwartzer wolf said to him, I know, dear Rabbi, why you came. And I bless you to have a child. Shabbos was over. The rabbi went home to his wife. He looked her in the eyes and he said, we are going to have a child. The blessing has come through. And the rabbi knew that he had been through the washing machine, the cycle of life, to turn everywhere so that the Creator would answer, only to find out that the Creator just wanted to ask him the question. Kadosh Baruch Hu, thank you, thank you, thank you. The rabbi's wife said, thank you, thank you, thank you. The rabbi said, and the very next day the rabbi came to shul, ready to daven a brand new davening, when he saw that the gabbai was walking around asking people things, and things just seemed to be in a bit of a tumult in shul. And he said, what happened? And he had a sinking feeling in his stomach. And he said, last night, Schwartzer Wolf died, and now we're trying to put together a funeral for him, and nobody wants to go. He did nothing, he gave nothing. I'm trying to get people together. The rabbi just put his hands on his head. We don't even know who Schwartzer Wolf was. Let me tell you who he was. And he went to the front of the shul, and he spoke about the Schwartzer Wolf and his holiness, and how he was connected to Hashem in the deepest and highest of ways, in a secret way that nobody knows. And he told them how after the Schwartzer Wolf had blessed him with a baby, he had asked him to please name that baby after him. And at that time he didn't understand. Why would he name his baby after him if he was still alive? But now he understood. And so the whole of the Kehillah went, and they gave the Schwartzer Wolf a proper, respectful escort into the next world. And 9 months later, the rabbi's wife gave birth to a little baby who they called Schwartzer Wolf. And it is known that this same Schwartzer Wolf name was passed down from generation to generation. The Belzer Rebbe once met someone named Schwartzer Wolf ben Chana at one of his tishes. And he said, wow, are you the grandson, the great-grandson of Schwartzer Wolf? He said, yes. And our family was always afraid that this story would be lost. And the Belzer Rebbe said, no, please tell the story here right now. And he told the story at the tish to all the people. And years later, Shlomo Carlebach had someone in his concert, when he was telling this story, raise his hand and say, I know a Schwartzer Wolf, a little boy in my class has that name. And I want to end the story by saying we all know a Schwartzer Wolf. We all know someone who appears to be so lowly, so dense, so unreachable, untouchable. And yet, we know that there is something called the hidden tzidkus that lives in every single person, and underneath the schwartz, which means the darkness, is the light in every single Jew. And the more that we purify ourselves, the more that we can see it in another. All around us are Schwartzer Wolves. We ourselves are Schwartzer Wolves, just waiting to be discovered for our true essence. So I bless us that we should always turn directly to Hashem, knowing that He wants to hear from our naked, true hearts for everything that we want, and that we look for the Schwartzer Wolves around us and know that in there lies a hidden tzaddik, and find as well the tzaddik within each and every one of us. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.